Hey guys, let's cut to the chase. I figured out that I am bisexual. The main reason why I'm making this video is because I am lazy. I don't want to go through the whole conversation, you know, with like friends and like family and stuff and being like, hey, I'm bi, what a surprise. Even though they could tell, they knew. Maybe they knew based on stereotypes, but they knew nonetheless. I'm 20 years old. I live in a place where people are generally accepted for their sexuality, and a lot of people have already figured that out for themselves much earlier than I did. It just feels weird to me that I'm figuring all this stuff out now, like I'm late to the memo or something like that. Anywho, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I always like kind of knew that I might be bi, but I never really realized that. It was like in the very, very back of my head, and I kept telling myself, oh, that's probably not the case. I really like guys, and I would just push whatever thought of me liking girls out of my brain. The first time I ever heard about someone being bisexual was when I was in 7th grade. I was living in Georgia at the time, and there was this guy in my science class that was bi. I remember hearing about it through like people gossiping and stuff. When people would talk about his sexuality, it would be in a way where it made it seem gross in some way. Like they'd be like, oh, you're talking to him in your class? You know, have you heard he's bi? They would talk about it like it was this gross, crazy thing. And at the time I was getting like pretty severely bullied. I was like, oh, okay. Good to know. And I never really called any of that out, and I feel bad about it. That's one thing I regret. I didn't understand it at the time, but I should have stood up for him more. So the first time me hearing about bisexuality didn't go well, right? Going to a very conservative school in the South. Skipping ahead, in 9th grade, I had my first crush on a girl. It was in my gym class. I don't know if she was new. I feel like she might have been new. I remember like seeing her and just feeling very like butterfly-y, like a little school crush, you know? I remember thinking at the time like, Haley, don't act weird, don't act like you're into her, because you're not into girls. And I had to keep telling myself that, like, Haley, you're not into girls. Make sure you act like a straight girl. I really liked her, but I pushed that away. We're putting that way back in there. Whenever I would have feelings towards a girl, I would always push it to the back of my mind and try my best to forget about it. And I don't even know why I did this. There were gay people that I knew, there were bisexual people that I knew, but I didn't feel like I was allowed to be bisexual. I remember I was watching this TV show when I was in 9th grade, and it was called Everything Sucks. It was my first time being introduced to Sydney Sweeney. I remember having a huge crush on her character in that show. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. Her character in the show is in like a gay relationship. While that was all going on, I was like, yeah. That was me. That was little me in 9th grade. That got even more confusion from me. I was like, why am I feeling this way? I remember taking like quizzes online, or like am I bi quizzes on the internet. And I remember I would always like lie on them so I could get like, no, you're straight. When I was in 9th grade, I had a friend that I think at the time she said she was a lesbian. I don't think she's a lesbian anymore though. I'm not sure. But at the time, I'm pretty sure she was a lesbian. I talked to her about it. I was like, hey, I think that I'm bi. I think that I might be bi. We had like a talk about it, and I only really talked to her about it. And then, I don't know, after like kind of coming to the realization I might be bi, I kind of pushed it out of my mind, because I thought, you know, I'm bi, but I'm probably like not bi enough. Maybe this will all pass. Obviously not. Through this whole time, it was just a whole like bunch of like confusing feelings. Skipping ahead. So throughout all this time, most people assumed that I was a lesbian or that I was bi. It was kind of funny how it worked. I went from having like super short hair, and everyone thought I was like a lesbian then. As my hair got like longer, people thought, oh, she's bi, like the longer it got, which was really funny to me. And I never understood like those stereotypes. I remember around the time when I was in 11th grade, people making jokes about like Someone who cuffs their jeans, they're probably bi or gay. Ha 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 ha. You like the neighborhood, you're probably bi. It bothered me, the stereotypes that people use and still kind of use to be like, oh, you're gay because you look artistic. That always put a bad taste in my mouth. Nonetheless, I fit into that stereotype. But I remember when I was in 11th grade, like in the back of my mind, assuming this role of being like, no, I am as straight as they come. I'm so fucking straight. Everyone's assuming that I'm bi. I'm not bi. I'm gonna stick it to them. I am totally straight. Feeling like I was really getting at them for that for some reason. From like 10th, 12th grade, I didn't have any crushes on any women. I also just like didn't allow myself to be attracted to women. I don't know how else to explain it, but I remember always like feeling a little nervous when I was around women, like a little bit anxious, and like kind of in a socially anxious way, but also in a way where I was thinking like, I hope they don't think that I am attracted to them. I really hope they don't think that I like them like that. I remember like always like shifting like my gaze away to like make sure I wasn't giving off those signals, being very like particular in the way that like I interacted with women so that they thought I wasn't bi. I don't think straight people do that. Obviously, thinking, find her attractive, but not in like a, I acknowledge that you're attractive way, but in like a, ooh, you're attractive way. I ended up moving to LA, there for 8 months, didn't like it, moved back, and I got into a relationship with my boyfriend, and I love my boyfriend so much. I love him. He is amazing. He is perfect in every way. So, has anyone heard of Baldur's Gate? I think most people on here have heard of Baldur's Gate. It's a wonderful game. If you haven't played it, I highly suggest you play it. How did I figure out that I was most definitely bi? Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. That was my big ding ding ding. I got Baldur's Gate 3 in my head. I was like, dude, I'm gonna totally romance Astarion. And then I had a conversation with Shadowheart and I was like, ooh. That did something in my heart to me. And I was shocked and I was like, And then I was like, okay, yep, I'm bi. Bye. Yep. That's how I realized it. And it sounds dumb, but it is what it is. Anywho, I want to get into like how I'm mentally processing all of this. So obviously I have a boyfriend, which is normal. I'm bisexual, you know, men, women, I like them both. I don't have to validate that by being in a relationship with a woman. I love my boyfriend so much. I see myself being with him, hopefully the rest of my life, honestly. I see him and that makes me so happy. It makes my heart like ache in like a loving way to like, I love Dylan so much. I love my boyfriend. Sometimes I just want to shout it from the rooftops. He's amazing. I don't need to be in a relationship with a woman to know that I'm bi. You know, I don't need to kiss a woman to know that I'm bi. I didn't have my first kiss until 11th grade, but I knew for a fact, I knew for certain that I liked guys when I was in 6th grade having crushes, you know, and being like, ooh, he's cute, you know, ooh, my heart. I knew that I liked guys then. That's how I knew I liked guys. Little Haley didn't have to like prove that I liked guys. I like girls. I know that. I'm very firm about that. Love ladies, love the men. It's great over here. It's great to be over here. I just love love. It's also weird for me to finally tell myself that, Haley, you are bi, and saying that to other people. I thought that like knowing that you're bi or in the LGBTQ community, that would be like a very like, I don't know how to explain it, like a very like pivotal moment, like this sparkly big moment. But it's not. Like, it's just saying like, oh, okay, my eyes are brown. It doesn't feel like oh my gosh, the sky is actually purple. That's insane. And I think that that's a big reason why it took me so long to figure out that I'm bi, because it was just a normal thing. And I thought that it would be more obvious to me. Like, I'm bi. but for some reason, part of me doesn't really feel like shouting it from the rooftops, mainly because I just feel like weird and uncomfortable about that, even though that's what I'm doing right now. Like, if someone were to ask me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm bi, but it's not something that I'd like, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like weird about it, and I feel like anxious about it for some reason, even though like no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit at all. Okay, you're bi, I could tell, like, fucking hell. I just feel shy about it. And I guess everyone like figures that stuff out for them at their own speed and stuff. I think it's also just kind of like annoying to me when other people are like, oh yeah, you're bi, oh, we could tell. Like, it's funny, but it's kind of annoying. It makes me feel self-conscious, like you're putting me into like a box. I don't like being put into boxes, which is why I felt weird about labeling this for so long. I'm just Haley. I'm just a hodgepodge of stuff mixed together, and it would be weird to try to box that into little boxes of my personality and stuff. If you are bi or in the LGBTQ community, leave me your thoughts down below. I mean, there's not really any thoughts on this, you know, I'm just bi. Like, hey, what do you think? Like, no, ew, loser. If you have any like experiences that you'd like to share in the comments, any advice you want to give me, then I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and for listening. This was harder for me to do than I thought it would be, but I'm gonna go play Baldur's Gate. It's my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate. I was good in that first playthrough, but I was also like a little bit like chaos. But in this second playthrough, I'm being so fucking evil. I'm playing Dark Urge, but I'm not a fucking dragon. Dragons are lame. I think my character's an elf. So I'm an elf in this one. I look super slay. I am going to be like evil, like murder. Oh, I can't control myself. I must murder everybody. I'm gonna romance Astarion this time. It's gonna be awesome, dude. I'm gonna be so evil. It's gonna be hard because all of the people I liked in my first campaign are gonna hate me, but everyone's gonna hate me. Dude, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to be evil and to be like, it's fun to do this. It's fun to do this. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm stimming right now. Okay, bye-bye. Everyone just loves all of this.